Welcome back to Learn Astrology with Mary. My name's Mary English. You can find me at www.maryenglish.com, maryenglish.co.uk and UK Astrologer. Hello, how are you? I hope you're well. If you're in the US, everybody's going to be talking about eclipses. I'm not, because we haven't got them in the UK and it's not fair. You're so lucky you can look up the sky. Well, I can't see anything in the night sky at the moment. The last 3 nights it's been cloudy and it's been rainy and it's not ideal weather to be looking at planets at the moment. But forget that. Anyway, today I thought I would talk about lucid dreaming, and the reason being is that I was working with a client this week and they suffered from night terrors, nightmares and disturbing dreams, and I asked them did they know that it's possible to, inverted commas, cure that by learning how to lucid dream, and I recommended the book to them, and the book is called Lucid Dreaming, Plain and Simple, Tips and Techniques for Insight, Creativity and Personal Growth, and it's written by Robert Waggoner, that's with a double G, and Caroline Macready, which is Mccready. Now the book came out in 2014, so we're now 2024, so that's more than 10 years ago. I've got some links that you'll be able to go to learn a bit more about lucid dreaming and what it is, and I thought, in my mistaken belief, that it would be a good idea to share the charts of the people that are sort of top of their field in this field, learning about lucid dreaming, being able to lucid dream. Well, I couldn't find the flipping data for the guy that wrote the books, so Robert Waggoner. I've driven myself crazy. I think he was born in 1958. Doesn't tell us anything. Caroline Macready, can't find her anywhere, so forget that. So I thought, well, I'd go back to see who were the first people that even mentioned what lucid dreaming is. So we've got some data and we've got some charts, but what I thought was rather funny was while I was doing the research, I was thinking, you know, there's got to be a Pisces knocking about here somewhere, because that's the sign of the zodiac that is most interested in dreaming as a thing. And so I have got one chart of one person who is actually a researcher in that, and they are a Pisces. But while I was trying to find the information, it very much was the moon's in Pisces today, and the moon is conjunct Neptune, and it was not one of those, and Mercury's retrograde as well. It was not one of those days where finding out any information was easy, because normally I can Google, I can find something, I can look on Companies House if they were born in the UK and they run any sort of business. Or I can use this particular search thing that I use for people that were born in America, or Astro Data Bank might have something, and I just kept drawing blanks and it was driving me crazy. So I'm not going to drive you crazy, but I am going to just tell you quite quickly what a lucid dream is. Now, a lucid dream is when you go to sleep and you're fast asleep and you're in your dream state, and all of a sudden you'll realise that you're dreaming. Now, some people just do that every now and again. I've mentioned before, but my mother was a particularly good dreamer. She had Mercury in Pisces, so even though she was Aquarius, she had Mercury in Pisces. She was pretty good at dreaming, and she had a really fantastic technique that she could go back into a dream and continue the dream. I cannot do that. I was like, I've tried, it doesn't work. But what lucid dream is, that you now know that you are dreaming. So you are aware in the dream. I say some people just do it automatically. Other people, it's a big spectrum of what dreaming is all about. Some people dream every night and don't even think about their dreams. They just sort of have them and box them. Some people get very into their dreams and keep a dream journal. So I have done that. I don't do it anymore, but I will mention in my journal if I've had a particularly standout dream that I need to pick apart. But the technique of lucid dreaming is something that can be taught and can be learned. And the state that a lucid dream happens in is not totally deep sleep, because when you're really, really fast asleep, you don't dream. Dreams happen just as you, in the dreaming state, you fall asleep and then you go deeper and deeper, 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 and then you go, and then your whole body repairs itself. That's in the deep dream state. But throughout the night, this is the average person now, throughout the night you will rise and dip. Like a wave, you'll go up and down, and it's those slighter, lighter dreams where lucid dreaming will happen. That totally deep state of being asleep isn't when you have a lucid dream, because your body's repairing itself and you're completely paralyzed, and you know, that's awful. Like sometimes people wake up when they've been in a really deep sleep and they'll feel paralyzed because they can't move. Well, that is what your body will do, because it will stop you getting eaten while you're fast asleep. But dreams happen in what's called the hypnagogic state and the REM thing, when your eyelids are flat. If you ever watched anybody being asleep, their eyelids will flutter a bit, because they're seeing stuff, yeah? So if you can see doggy doing it, your kiddie doing it, your partner doing it, if you're in bed with them, the lights on. And it's in that REM state, that's when a lucid dream can possibly happen. And it takes a certain amount of training. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole how to train yourself to do it. Get the flipping book and learn how. But it is useful and interesting and similar to the state of hypnosis. So when you're in a deeply relaxed state, and you're half awake, half asleep, which is the hypnagogic hypnotherapy deep relaxation state, you can have waking dreams. So you could do like past life sessions and whatever. Lucid dreaming is that you are most definitely asleep in an imaginary world in your mind, and in a lucid dream you can control the dream, you can fly, you can do stuff that you want to, and you can go anywhere you like and do lots and lots of different stuff, or not, as the case might be. And as I say, some people can be taught it and some people can't. So I'm going to give you a few charts of people that are even mentioned in the field. And the first one is a French chap, and he was born Marie-Jean-Léon Lecoq. And then later on he got the extra title of Baron de Hervey de Juchereau. But he was, I think that was shortened, because it's a bit of a long name, to the Marquis de Hervey de Saint-Denis. And he was born in 1822 on the 6th of May, and he started to record his dreams and is considered apparently today the father of modern lucid dreaming. And did you know, that was something I didn't know, that the study of dreams is called oneirology? I presume you pronounce it like that, I don't know. But anyway, that's the study of dreams. So he was a specialist. Anyway, he started writing his dreams when he was 14. He was also pretty good at different languages. He was made an intense study of Chinese. He wrote lots of things. He could speak Spanish as well, blah, 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 blah. But he wrote a lot about his dreams. So let's have a little look at his chart. So this is your Marie-Jean. As opposed to Jean-Marie, he's Marie-Jean. And I've used whole sign because we're not going to get any flipping birth times off anybody born in 1892. I don't think there's too much birth time there. I thought, oh, well, he's a sun sign Scorpio, and he's got sun conjunct Uranus. So he's not going to be your regular chap. He's going to be a little bit off the wall. When you're born with sun conjunct Uranus, you don't know who you are every day when you wake up. And that's Donald Trump has that sun conjunct Jupiter. But he was Marie-Jean-Léon Lecoq, sun conjunct Uranus. So this is somebody who's going to have an unusual way of looking at life. And I think to record your dreams from the age of 14, I think it was 14, it wasn't 4, was it? Let me double check. Started recording his dreams when he started on a daily basis when he was 13, and on page 4 of one of his works the author stated he was in his 14th year when he started his dream work. and that's daily. Trust me, daily. There's 365 days in a year. That's a hell of a lot of writing. So, well, what have we got in the chart there? Is there anything in there that indicates that this might be a person that's into dreaming? What signs of the zodiac do we consider to be dreamy signs? Neptune and Pluto. Is there any of that in his chart? No. He has absolutely zero Pisces stuff in his chart. And his natal Neptune is in the sign of Gemini, which is quite a chatty sign, and is conjunct to Pluto. What I did find interesting in creating this chart using whole sign and using 6 a.m. was he has got a yod in his chart which conjoins his moon, Pluto and Neptune. But the moon can change degree within a day, and I've done 6 a.m. and I was sort of wondering, I wonder whether or not it was born a bit later in the day and the moon was conjunct to Jupiter, who knows. But the moon is in Aries, so both of these signs, Scorpio and Aries, are ruled by Mars. Mars is the god of war, blah 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 blah. In his chart he's got Mars in Aquarius. It's quite a late degree. And his Mercury and his Mars are square to each other. So this is about his thinking process is a battle. Now, I haven't read any of his dreams. I don't know what he did in his dreams. All I know is what it tells us on Wikipedia. I wasn't going to go too much further in his history. But he's the man that is supposedly the beginner of it, because he didn't coin the phrase. That was someone else. So who coined the phrase lucid dreaming, Mary? Now, he was, let me find his page, hold on a second. He was a Dutch, is that right? Dutch writer and psychiatrist called Frederik van Eeden. And he was born on the 3rd of April, 1860. So, Marie-Jean-Léon was born in 1892, so this chap was born before him, and he coined the term lucid dream in the sense of mental clarity, a term that nowadays is a standard term in the study of dreams, meaning dreaming while knowing that one is dreaming. And that's as much as Wikipedia gives me about Frederik. So let's have a look at his chart, and he is a sun sign Aries, sun conjunct Neptune. They're exactly conjunct 13 degrees, and his Mercury's retrograde. So he's not a regular thinker, and he himself has got moon in Virgo. It doesn't mention anything about whether or not he did or didn't dream. He just coined the phrase because he was a psychiatrist working with people, blah 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 blah. He's got Saturn in Leo, he's got Pluto and Venus in Taurus, which is quite happy there, and he's got Uranus in Gemini, and Jupiter, Cancer, Moon, Virgo, and Neptune is in Pisces. So that did sort of cheer me up a bit that he had, because Neptune's in the sign of Pisces at the moment. In fact, I can give you the exact degree that Neptune is today, because I don't know when you're going to listen to this. We are now April the 7th. Neptune is 27 degrees. So this chap was born exactly when Neptune was 27 degrees, which it is again today. So this is a couple hundred years ago, blah, 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 blah. And he coined the term lucid dreaming. Okay. Now we have to go on a little bit further, and we're going to skip straight into the 1900s now. And this is a guy called Paul Thorley. So all these charts are up on my Libsyn account, so at the show notes. Now this is a guy called Paul Thorley whose research in lucid dreams involved proving that people dream in black and white. So that was the research that he wanted to ensure. And let me get his page up again. And he was a professor of psychology and sports science at the University of Frankfurt, and he started the study of oneirology, or do you call it oneirology? Not too sure if you pronounce it O-N-E is how it starts in neurology. So I don't know if it's one neurology or one aerology. Anyway, in an attempt to prove that dreams occur in colour. Given the unreliability of dream memories and following the critical realism approach, whatever that is, he used lucid dreaming as an epistemological tool for investigating dreams, in a similar fashion to Stephen LaBerge. Now, Stephen LaBerge is, as far as I'm aware, still alive, and all we know is what year he was born. We've got no date of birth for him, so I'm not even including him into today's podcast, because without a chart, we can't yak about something. Now, this poor bloke devised the reflection technique for inducing lucid dreams consistently and continuously suspecting waking life to be a dream, in the hope that such a habit would manifest itself during dreams. So that's when you have your whole day and you ask yourself the question, because it's a self-reflection technique, am I dreaming? So I'm talking to you now, am I dreaming? It's like, well, no, I know I'm not dreaming. And I'll tell you why, there's one little trick you can do. Look at your hands. If your hands don't look daft, then you're definitely awake. When you're asleep and you look at your hands, and I have done this, you get what's called banana hands. Your fingers will suddenly get bigger. It's the weirdest of things. It doesn't happen to everybody in every dream, but it's one of the techniques that is used for lucid dreaming. So now this is somebody we actually have a chart for, and they are, hurrah, a Pisces. Okay, so his Sun conjunct Saturn in Pisces and Mercury in Pisces. And what I thought was quite interesting, he's got Moon in Aries. So the Moon is the subconscious, and your Marie-Jean-Léon, he's got Moon in Aries as well. And then your Frederik van Eeden, he was Sun in Aries. So I sort of thinking while I was doing this, there's a little bit of an Aries flavour going on here. But anyway, he was unfortunately, because he died in 1998, pesky Pisces. He had Neptune retrograde in Virgo, and he had Sun opposition Neptune. Now, if that isn't a signature to be involved in the mystical side of life, I flipping well don't know what is. And just read you a little bit of blurb about what happens when the Sun is opposition to Neptune. This aspect can weaken the health and cause vitality problems. You have a high degree of physical sensitivity, causing you to experience periodic declines. There can be psychic disorders, weakened heart action, and prolonged healing time. Immunity can be low, and there's a propensity towards anemia or problems with iron assimilation. Engaging in some form of exercise can increase vitality and add body tone. Engaging in artistic activities, including music or the arts, can help restore vitality. Now, this is considering this from a medical astrology perspective. So there can be body toxicity. They may be prone to infections, colds, flus, swollen lymph glands. Sun-Neptune contact can indicate the potential for misdiagnosis, and you should always get a second opinion on any serious health matter. There can be poor assimilation of vitamins and minerals, and there's a potential for edema, which can be caused by a sodium-potassium imbalance. You need to build up the immune system. You could be more drug sensitive, needing to have half the dose of whatever you're prescribed. There can be an allergy to food. There could be allergic to synthetic fibres, animal fibres. You need to wash your fruit and veg carefully. You could be sensitive to household cleaning agents, cleaning sprays, and harsh chemicals. So he has all of that, but the advantage of Sun opposition to Neptune is the ability to immerse oneself into the other realms, whatever you want to call them. Now, I don't have a birth time for him, so I don't know what time of day he was born. And he's got Moon square to Jupiter. But we've got the date that he passed, which is the 7th of December 1998. And what I thought was pretty interesting is that when he was born, Neptune was in Virgo. So throughout his life, it chugged through the signs of Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn. On the date that he died, Neptune was 0 degrees into Aquarius. So it's sort of almost as if because he doesn't have any planets in Aquarius, and Uranus was in Aquarius as well, as if the universe didn't need him anymore to do whatever he was. That's just something. But I thought what was equally interesting was he was born with natal Jupiter in Capricorn, and when he passed, look at that, Jupiter transiting is 19 degrees and his sun sign's 23, so that's pretty much a conjunction. But natally he's got Sun and Saturn conjunct. So on the one side of it, when Jupiter conjuncts our natal Saturn, it can feel like dark night of the soul. But the other, if you just take transiting Jupiter conjunct to the Sun, that's pretty happy. So one would assume, but I don't know, that his passing might have been a happy thing. But he would have been under the stress of Saturn because he's got Moon in Aries. We don't know what time of day he's born, so I don't know what degree his Moon is, but Saturn would have spent a couple of years transiting through the sign of Aries, so it would have had emotional stress of some sort. And on the date of his passing, Saturn was 27 degrees Aries retrograde, and the Moon had just gone into Leo on that date, and it's so a few hours before, like only a few minutes before, in fact, it would have been conjunct his natal Pluto retrograde in Cancer. So he's got Neptune and Pluto retrograde, nothing else is retrograde in his chart, and there's a whole heap of planets that are in Saggy transiting. So he's got Mars in Saggy, and transiting Mercury was retrograding on his natal Mars, and Pluto and the Sun and Venus were also in Saggy, and his north node's in Saggy. So I don't know what he died of. We don't need to go into that. We're just talking about lucid dreaming. But I thought that was an interesting chart, and it showed, whichever tense you want to go. This is somebody that did get very deeply into the subject of lucid dreaming. Now, a contemporary lucid dreamer is a guy in the UK called Charlie Morley. I remember looking up his details once before, and I think I discovered that he was a Leo, but that was just about it. I haven't got his chart. And for the life of me, I can't even remember where I got that from, so we're not going to be looking at his chart either, but he does a lot of teaching lucid dreaming. So within the field of lucid dreaming, there are people that do it, write about it and research it. And it's a fascinating subject. It's not exclusively for Pisces, don't get me wrong on that one. But I thought it was interesting how when the concept was born, inverted commas so to speak, was when Neptune just started. Well, it's in the birth chart of the person who developed the term that Neptune had just started its lengthy transit through Pisces the last time, because now we're doing exactly the same thing again. Sorry, let me just get back to his chart again. So he's Frederik, and sorry, Neptune had just finished transiting through the sign of Pisces when he was born, whilst Marie-Jean-Léon Lecoq, his Neptune's in Gemini. So today we've been talking a little bit, I have been talking a little bit about lucid dreaming. It was extremely frustrating being able to even do this episode because I couldn't find any data for anybody that's even reasonably well known in the field itself. And as I said earlier, I was considering, I wonder if it's anything to do with the fact that the whole thing is governed by Neptune. It's wibbly wobbly, and nothing is ever going to be revealed under a Neptune idea. So do get in touch if you've ever had a lucid dream yourself. Do get in touch if you enjoy dreaming, and you don't have to be a Pisces to do that. So I hope the eclipses are good for you if you're in the US, and if you're in the UK, you need to keep an eye out for the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, which happens on around about the 26th. Because as we speak today, we're only the 7th, Jupiter's only 17 degrees. It needs to get to 20-something degrees because Uranus at the end of April will be 22. Yeah, so the 25th, 26th. Now, I am getting together some more interviews, so there will be some other people invited onto the podcast, and I'll keep you posted on that one. So I hope you have a fab week, and I'll be back next week. Bye-bye now.